So we're moving into section 58, and we're talking about IFR flight planning. So we're going to get into the one little bit of use of the E6B computer that might be of interest on this exam. There are about 10 questions in the database that relate to this flight planning portion. They're almost all related to calculations of true airspeed. But there is one question related, so far that we're aware of, one question that is related to routing and doing cross-country planning. So, number one, new test question, know how to determine the IFR in-route knowledge and calculate time and fuel to fly a given route. The one question that we know so far in the database is this one, and we expect that there will be more. And it's more of a scenario-based question, which is the direction that the Airman Certification Standards are moving. So here it is. The original route of your flight was CEZ, Victor 391 to JNC. However, thunderstorm activities cropped up. So ATC revises your route to CEZ, Victor 391, DVC, Victor 68, MTJ, Victor 26 to JNC. What they want to know is how much additional fuel would you consume given the following. Winds 230 at 40 knots, true airspeed 130 knots, fuel consumption 17 gallons per hour. So what you are going to have is a series of time, distance, fuel consumption calculations to make. Your original route of flight, and this is turned sideways, was from this VOR, CEZ, Cortez, up Victor 68 to Dove Creek, and then Victor 391 up to Grand Junction. The original trip distance was 106 nautical miles, time en route estimated to be about 46 minutes. Here's a blow by blow of the original trip. Original first trip, if I look at that little box between the two VOR stations, and I know this is a little difficult because the thing is turned sideways, we've got a magnetic course of 311 degrees. That's given right off the VOR needle, right off the VOR compass rose, 311, and the distance is 31 nautical miles. From this route, I'm doing a magnetic course of 351, and I'm doing a total distance of 75 miles to that one. So I've got a 31-mile jaunt and a 75-mile jaunt that gives me a total of 106. Time en route is based on the winds. Now, one of the things you got to keep in mind is wind direction or true or magnetic? Winds. Winds aloft. Thank you. Takes a private pilot guy to answer that question because they just had it. All right, so it's based on true. These are magnetic. There's a bit of a difference, but if you look carefully, there is a magnetic variation line on the chart, and it's telling me it's a 10-degree easterly correction. So they've given you the winds, they've given you the magnetic variation. You have to calculate time, and you have to calculate fuel, and this is the way it works out. If I put the winds in, I get a ground speed of about 125 knots. True airspeed of the airplane was 130. So my first part of the leg, 125, time is 15 minutes. Second leg comes out to 152. Ground speed is 152, total time is 31. So I end up with about 46 minutes for that route to go from here up to this VOR over to here. Time distance calculations. Fuel burn. If I total my total time, 46 minutes, at my fuel burn that's given to me, and the fuel burn is 17 gallons per hour on this airplane, I'm going to wind up somewhere in that neighborhood, 13.3 gallons, for the trip as planned. Now I got weather. Thunderstorms along the route. So ATC has moved the route. They have rerouted me. So from here, I've got to go to they don't even add cones on here. They take me directly to this VOR station. This is Montrose, and then Montrose on over to Grand Junction. So I'm on Victor 68 all the way through to this VOR, and then from this VOR, I'm going to route up to my same destination, but I'm bypassing the weather. It's a longer trip. I've got a few more legs on there. Same winds. So once I've calculated those out, it turns out my route is a little bit longer. The new route is 152 nautical miles. My total time is actually not quite that. I come up with 66. They came up with 109. We're off a little bit. Fuel burn, however, still comes out pretty close. I've got 6.4 gallons fuel burn difference. 19.7 gallons for the new route, 13.3 gallons for the old route. The total difference is about 6.4 gallons. Let's go back to the question. The question is, how much more fuel am I going to get? No, it's FAA math. So you're never going to get the same number they do, but you will get close enough to pick the correct answer, which in this case is Bravo. It is 5.5 gallons. So when we look at the total difference, actual calculation is a 6.5. I think it's actually a little less than that. 1 gallon difference in available choices due to the tailwind on Victor 68. So you end up getting close enough to this. Time distance. There used to be 7 cross-country problems that they had you work, and they didn't include fuel burn. They were just time. They were in the DFW area. They were all routing pretty much in the area around Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, and they were all time distance calculations. The answer to 5 of the 7 questions was 1 hour and 30 minutes. So if you had an hour 30 in one of the 3 answer choices, that was your correct answer. It was either 129 or 131. They all ended up in that category. One of them was 68 minutes and the other one came out 72 minutes. So it was pretty much, you could look at the answer and determine what your question you had. Those all got removed for obvious reasons. People caught on. They can't do that anymore. So that right now is a kind of scenario-based question that they're going to make you do. It's going to take a little while for one question, but it's strictly time distance. There's nothing magical about it. It's not hard. It's taking you back to your private pilot cross-country planning days. And I know once you got past that written exam, nobody in here is doing that anymore. You're all using an app, and the app's figuring it out for you, but you can't take the app into the instrument written exam. So go back and brush up on time distance calculations. The other things they're going to have us do is determine what calibrated airspeed must be used to maintain a true airspeed. And for that, we're going to go to the E6B flight computer and we're going to look at a couple of scales that we don't use very often. And the question is, if we look at the circle around the outer scales, one of them is going to be marked calibrated airspeed. CAS is going to be marked on this inner scale that is also used for time. And there will be a symbol for TAS on the outside scale that we've been using for something else. You all see the little markings on your E6B, those of you that have one with you. There is just a very small abbreviation on there. Now, all I need to do for this is to use the airspeed correction window in the middle. And the question is going to be, given a true airspeed of 155 and a speed of 8,000 feet pressure altitude, MSL altitude, the outside air temperature of -5, what we're doing is we're looking at temperature on this upper scale and altitude on the inner scale. And we're showing, in this case, 5,000 and 10,000 feet. And we're looking for 8,000 MSL, so there's 5, 6, 7, 8 right here. And we're looking at an outside air temperature of -5. And so there's the 0 point. Everything over here is minus. Everything in this direction is plus. I want the lineup of 8,000 feet over -5 degrees, or underneath -5. All of these scaled problems are figured out the same way with just this window. So I've got -5. I know it's very hard to read. Bring the magnifying glass so that you can see these hash marks because they're very tiny. I'm looking at -5 degrees and 8,000 feet. And now the scales are set up. In this case, I'm looking at a true airspeed of 155. 155 on the outer scale is right there. 150, 160. And in where the scaling is right now, there's 152, 154, 156, 158, 160, 155 is right in the middle, and I read calibrated airspeed directly under it, 139. And that's all they're going to ask us to calculate. Try this one. Calibrated airspeed must be used to maintain a filed true airspeed of 156 knots at 11,000 feet. Outside air temperature +5. Same thing you just did, but we changed the temperature and pressure. I'm at 11,000 feet. And I'm dealing with plus 5, not minus 5. So what do we got? You got it? What's the answer? Which one of those is correct? Where we got?
So I did 11,000.
11,000, and you've got plus 5. So you're good. You're set.
Yeah.
And 156 is true.
So wouldn't it be like 130?
156 is there. So what's calibrated?
Wait.
Next icon.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be right?
Oh, sorry,
Take over.
156.
Yeah, 128.
So the answer is, anybody? A should come out to about 129 knots indicated. Pretty hard setup, isn't it? Think you can handle one more? I got a true airspeed of 158, 8,000 feet MSL. Oh, this one's easy, folks. 0 degrees. I don't have to go plus or minus. You can see the 0 mark on there. What have I got?
Here we go.
0 at 8.
Okay, and so my true airspeed is 158.
138.
Which one of those is best? Woo, we're getting tighter here. Is it A or B? Got B? Coop, what do you guys got? Uh-oh. Indecisiveness is what we have. Did you come up with one? Did you bring it? Oh, that's okay. There is actually a lot of apps, by the way, for E6Bs that'll download to your phone. They work really well. There's one called Sparkies I like. I don't know who makes it. It sounds like Sporties, but it's not. But there's a lot of electronic E6Bs that are out on the web that you can download, and they work just as well as the WizWheel. They're fine. There's your answer. Should be close to 139 or 140 knots. You should be okay. Okay? One more, and we'll call it a day. We'll move on from this section. I've got 8,000 MSL. I got plus 8 degrees on my temperature. And I got a true airspeed of 180. What's calibrated?
Oh, I was just finishing that last one.
Okay,
I'll get it.
try this
What, you
one.
got 8 degrees?
8,000 and 8 degrees.
8,008. Oh, wow, that's going to be trying to...
I know,
split
it's like
hairs.
splitting hairs, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll go right there. That's pretty close.
Okay.
180,
Yep, 180 is the outside scale.
152.
150 something. All right, does that look like Bravo? What'd you guys come up with? You came up with A. They got 154, you got 157, what'd you get? You got Bravo? I got 2 Bravos and an Alpha. Has anybody got something else? What'd you guys come up with? Oh, give me an answer, Cooper. No, you've had enough time. You got Bravo? Oh, I'm getting a split decision here. 8,000, I know, it's tough. 8,000 and plus 8. 8,000. $8,000 plus 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. I know. 8,008. Okay, and true airspeed 180. Calibrated is 150. How many people got Bravo? I'm kind of leaning toward the Bravo. It is a Bravo, guys. It is a Bravo. It's 157. 154. No, it's not Charlie. It's 157. Did you get it? All right. Okay. We okay with that?